Examine the next 100 people that you meet. This is from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. Examine the next 100 people that you meet. Ask them what they want most in life, and 98 of them will not have an idea of what they want in life. They'll stumble, stammer. They'll come up with things like security, freedom. Very few will say happiness. It's a very odd scenario. A great mentor of mine once said, "Hey, don't get too excited about anybody that you bring into your business until they go through adversity, until they go through a challenge. When they go through a challenge, then you will understand what they're made of." And so the question becomes is how do you develop persistence in your life? And I've been trained by some of the greatest in the world when it comes to developing persistence. And I remember one time, several times actually, Pastor Tim Goad would say things like, you have to know your why. You have to know what it is that you want. And I don't know about you, but that frustrated me. I was broke. I was drinking heavily. Our cars were repossessed. House was in foreclosure. And so every time they wanted like this deep, what's your why? I would get frustrated because I just want to pay the bills. I want to be able to wake up tomorrow morning and remember what I did the day before. So I thought, well, maybe greatness isn't meant for me because I don't have this beautifully written, what I'm going to become in life and who I am and all that stuff that goes with it. And then I read, Think and Grow Rich, and it didn't get any better because he's got 4 ways to develop persistence in your life. And what I've done is I've broken them down because what I've learned is that it's not about having this holy grail of this is what I'm going to do. And this light comes shining in and you ride in on a white horse. And that's not what Pastor Goad was saying to me. That's not what Fitz has been saying to me. That's not what my leaders have been saying to me. It's a lot simpler than that. I was confusing it. And what I have found is most people confuse it. And that's why if you ask 100 people, 98 say they have no idea what they want. And so Napoleon Hill says this, there are 4 simple steps that lead to the habit of persistence. Number 1, a definite purpose backed by a burning desire for its fulfillment. Sounds very deep. Sounds very unattainable for a guy that barely graduated high school. I couldn't pay the bills. My cars were repossessed. That's deep. Like, what? And back then I was an active alcoholic. And okay, I don't know if this success thing is meant for me, right? Number 2, a definite plan expressed in a continuous action. Wow. Number 3, a mind closed tightly against all negative and discouraging influences, including negative suggestions of relatives, friends, and acquaintances. That one I was cool with. I was like, all right, we can, that one's not too deep. Number 4, a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with both a plan and a purpose. That one I understood too. But let's tackle number 1, a definite purpose backed by a burning desire. Listen, I believe wholeheartedly your definite purpose changes. And it doesn't happen in the time frame that you think it'll happen. Sitting right here, these are my journals that go from 2007 to 2011. Okay. I've got more. I got a lot more, but I'm just showing you those. 2007 and 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. Each of those journals I wrote in there, I was going to quit drinking. I didn't quit drinking until 2012. That, my friend, is a definite purpose. It was one sentence in these books for all those years. I will quit drinking. Done. It's a definite purpose with a burning desire. I didn't want it anymore. But notice it took several years to get there. I also wrote in this book, all the way dating, actually I got 2005 too, I will be a millionaire. I will make $1 million in 1 calendar year. That didn't happen till 2017. Okay. Definite purpose. Now, guess what? It's also a definite purpose if you want to feed your kids and pay the bills. That's a burning desire. See, don't get caught up in this because I did, and it bothered me. And there were some speakers I wouldn't listen to, and I regret that because it was too complicated. What's your why? I was like, man, quit asking me that, man. I just want to make it through freaking tomorrow. Can that be my why? Can that be my, yes, absolutely. Now, as you tackle certain things, you kind of claim other victories and other whys and everything you're going to do. That's beautiful. But don't get too wrapped up in this holy grail. You have to have this beautifully written out essay of what you're going to do with your life. So interesting enough is I wrote that in my journal. I'm going to quit drinking. And I did not, that my wife, I didn't tell people that, by the way, that stayed in there. In fact, I would cleverly put it not on the first and second page. I put it on like page 5 or 6. Every year on New Year's Day, I would sit down with my 2 daughters and my wife, and we'd all write. I would handwrite all their stuff, and I would handwrite mine again, but I would go to like page 5 or 6. So it was kind of hidden in there. No one would read it. This is interesting. That was a burning desire, even though it took that long. This is what's interesting. When I told my mother, when I called her and said, hey, I quit drinking, she said, I always knew you would. So there was clearly something. Just because I wasn't telling everybody, I probably should have. It probably wouldn't have lasted as long. The misery part wouldn't. I'd have probably gotten out of it quicker. But I'm not going to test fate. I like where I'm at. I'm 13 years sober. I'm cool with it. And because I'm sober, I'm able to build a thriving business. I'm able to build thriving friendships, relationships, you name it. I don't want to test it, but maybe it could have happened sooner. Don't know. The key is it's okay if your burning desire, if your definite purpose isn't like happening next month. Okay. So Fitz said to me, be careful when you bring someone on your team. This is the first thing I said, because don't get too crazy about them until they go through their first adversity. Well, I went through all of my journals from 05, 06, 07, and there is no doubt in my mind why I made it through all the adversity I made it through, because I was speaking everything I wanted and everything I desired in my simple, stupid, barely graduated high school wording. Okay. Please, even if it's, I don't want to let my family down anymore. I'm tired of, not having money for them. There you go. Write it down. That's your purpose. Again, doesn't have to be this. I want to build the Hoover Dam. I want to design the next iPhone. Quit getting complicated with it. And I'm talking to myself because I did. But thank God I was still just writing things down and predicting where I wanted to go. And again, there's no doubt in my mind when I read this stuff, I know Fitz and Heather weren't worried about me quitting and giving up till success happened. And so what is it for you? I'm building a real estate company. I'm finding great people. I'm waiting for them to overcome adversity to see how they handle it. Can they develop the persistence they need in their life? It's easy to shout out your goals. It's harder to see them through. Pastor Goves always told me, I've seen a lot of starters. I've seen a lot of people start things. I've seen a lot less finish. So I started this thing where I said, we all need to become addicted to finishing, whatever it is. 2017, I earned $1 million in 1 year. I was able to say that, speak that. I finished. Okay. I quit drinking. I probably, again, maybe should have spoken it again. I don't want to test it. I like where I'm at. But the fact is, I wrote it down. And it was so prevalent that I didn't even tell people that my mother knew. I always knew you would quit drinking. So what are you putting out into the world? Don't get too caught up in this craziness of I got to have a beautifully written deal and I got to put it in chat GBT and all that garbage. Just put it down. What do you want? And keep writing it and keep writing it. And if you can, speak it to people. And once you do that, you will develop persistence in your life. Now, number 3 and 4 are very important. They're vital. And that's how I became successful. Number 3, a mind closed tightly against all negative. I haven't watched the news since 2006. I don't care about it. It does not dictate my feelings and who I am and what I'm going through on a day-to-day basis. It just doesn't. I know what's going on in the world. I've had many people say to me, well, you're an uninformed citizen. Well, you're a pissed off citizen. Okay. I can be uninformed if that's what you think. I still know what's going on in the world. It's okay. But you got to turn the stuff off. You'll never reach your goals. Absolutely never come close to reaching your goals if you're constantly watching garbage. And who do you put in your life? Now, I am not saying by any stretch of the imagination you get rid of people in your life. No way, no how. But you're going to have to put them in certain places in your life. There's certain areas in your life you're going to have to put them. And I'm also not saying don't give up on them. Try to help them. Try to encourage them by your example. Say it over and over. I don't watch the news. I don't get caught up in that stuff. I vote and I move on. I don't have time to hate people who vote differently than me. My 2 heroes in my life voted differently. I love both of them. I would kill for both of them. I clearly side with one of them more than the other, but understand I can't hate. I ain't got time for it. So be very careful what you're putting in your head, what you're listening to, who you're hanging out with. I want to hang out with people that tell me where they're going. I want to hang out with people tell me what's happening next. It inspires me. But again, if I have people that are negative, I'm not, you got to work with them too. You can't just give up on everybody around you. You got to say, hey, have you ever thought about maybe, just maybe, could you stop talking about your past so much? My kids were never allowed to say just my luck. That just got me to the core. And when adults say, just my luck, I ran out of gas today. I just want to love you with everything in my heart. So my kids would say, I said, the only time you can say just my luck is if you find a $100 bill on the ground or you find something great or something great happens to you. Just my luck. Won a Super Bowl. Just my luck. Be careful with the words you use. Hang around people that say positive things. Don't give up on people that say negative things because you can help them begin to say positive things. And number 4, a friendly alliance with one or more persons who will encourage you to follow through with both plan and purpose. My alliances have, God just keeps giving them to me. He has given me some of the greatest alliances of people that say these words that are magical. I believe in you. Now, I don't have to have that all the time. In fact, when some people say they don't believe in me, I get a little gooder. Okay. But I do have people in my life that are alliances that say they believe in me. You have to have that. But don't go around looking for everybody to do it. You only need 1, maybe 2. That's it. Okay. That's it. And in fact, you kind of want a lot of people betting against you because that's where you get strong. That's where you get a little better in everything. So if you want to develop persistence, if you want to get up, and by the way, every one of these says I'm going to weigh 185 pounds. The majority of them, I was 215 plus. The highest I ever got was 245. But every one of these journals say I will weigh 185 pounds. Every one of them. I weigh 175 now. That's how you develop the persistence to get to where you want. You can't build a business if your mind isn't developed this habit of persistence. It just becomes a habit. I wake up every morning, I work out. I don't know why, it just happens now. There's no rhyme or reason, it just happens. I wake up and 4 days a week, I get in an ice tub. I've been doing that for 3 years now. I was doing it before it was cool. It's just habit now. I got to do it. And once you develop that habit of persistence, then everything takes over. And then you can build a business. You can build great relationships, great friendships. But I believe, and if you're interested in joining a team that is solely based on being physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit, and financially fit, we are your team. If you want a team that's going to teach you the X's and O's and the products all the time, I'm not your guy. Now, great news is we have 80 plus hours of training every week on the X's and O's, and they're great, and you need them. But I'm not teaching that. I believe you need to know you better than any of the X's and O's, and you need to know your customer better than any of the X's and O's. Knowing your customers is number one. The only way I believe you can have that authority in your life is to be mentally prepared, spiritually prepared, physically prepared. Because if you're not, it's just not going to work. Now, I'm not asking you to run a marathon. I'm not asking you to bench 315 pounds. I'm just asking you, can you get up and walk for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and just no music, no phone, just be with God? Can you be mentally prepared? Can you read great books? Be with people that read great books. Hang out with people that are physically fit. Hang out with people that are spiritually fit. People that have a faith that there's something better on this earth than what we're going through right here. There's something much greater, I should say, than what's going on right now. If you can have that in your life, I promise you the X and O's are easy. I don't care what you're selling, what you're doing. How to develop persistence. Write it down. It doesn't have to be this crazy magical thing. I hope this helped. If this is your first time on my channel, click that subscribe button. Do me a favor. If this helped you in any way, hit that like button. I'd like to know. Leave me a comment and say, hey, this helped, XYZ, whatever it is. I'd like to know if it helped.